32 years ago, one peaceful summer evening, a family was having a get together in the house behind me. Outside, in the dark, a group of monsters was approaching their door. In 1993, with the Bosnian Genocide raging across the country, this little village here, Mokronoge, was enjoying relative peace. An ethnically diverse area where Croats and Bosniaks had lived side by side for centuries meant that when war broke out and a unit of Croatian Defense Forces, aka HVO, formed here to defend against the Serb nationalist aggression, both Croats and Bosniaks actually joined. And while the men went to the front lines, their families stayed behind. So one of those families is Bešlaga, who were living in a house behind me. Bosniak Muslims, Bešlaga, and three of their cousins that had come over to their house were living in relative peace until they began hearing gunshots around the village on August 10th, 1993, when a unit of Croatian soldiers began harassing local Bosniaks for money and valuables. It's important to understand another side of living in a genocide situation, as Bosniaks like Bešlaga family were. When the veneer of civilized life falls away, when seeming stability of a system collapses, and sheer fascist chaos comes to surface, anything can happen at any time. Did you ever maybe offend somebody? Was somebody jealous of you? Do you own something somebody else wants? Did somebody keep an eye on you for years because of something? Suddenly, all those things mean that a person with a gun may appear on your doorstep, and what may have been an unfathomable situation in 1991, before the breakup of Yugoslavia, was now a potential life and death situation in 1993 Bosnia. This horror of never being sure if somebody may come to your door was something that many felt on an everyday basis. Well, that evening of August 10th, 1993, after hearing gunshots around all day, Bešlaga family wanted to relieve some tension by just huddling up with their loved ones and having some semblance of peace that night. They hoped to drown out any sounds of gunshots and just for at least that evening to pretend there's some kind of a normalcy in their existence. However, what they didn't know was that a group of men was moving up their street, knocking on the doors as they moved along, and finally they heard some voices coming from Bešlaga house. The leader of those men, Ivan Bakovic, was only 21 years old at the time, and he was the son of a longtime Croat neighbor of the Bešlaga family. Inside the house that night were 6 members of the Bešlaga family and 6 of their cousins: Hussein, Emir, Subha, Emira, Amela, and Dika Bešlaga, as well as their cousins Ibrahim, Muharrem, and Mustafa Tiro, and Simha Juliman, and her 2 little babies. Years later, Amela recalled the moments after the family heard a knock on the door. I've been trying to forget these events for 18 years, so things are a little blurry to me. I recognized Ivan Bakovic, who entered our house in military fatigues. He said, "Lie down, everybody, or I'll kill you like rabbits." He held a rifle in his hand and a bomb in the other, which he threw outside the door and it exploded. My mother, Dika, pleaded with him, "Ivan, don't do it. Your father was a good man." To which Ivan replied, "He may have been a good man, but I'm an Ustasha." And for those that might not know, Ustaše were Croatian Nazi puppet soldiers from World War II, which Croatian nationalists wanted to revive in 1992. Amela then recalled, he then pointed the rifle at Simha, who had 2 children. After we were lying there for about 5 minutes, he ordered us to get up and put on our shoes. My sister asked if I could go upstairs to sleep with the little babies. He allowed me and I went, and the adults were in front of the house, and I don't know what happened next. After that, little Amela paced around the house all night, waiting for her family to come back, but they never did. She then said, when it was dawn and the cows were coming out, Uncle Omer came over and took us children. And during the day, I found out that my mother, sisters, brother, and relatives were killed. When Amela went upstairs that night, Ivan and two other soldiers named Albert Topic and Petar Majic ordered everybody out of the house. They walked them up to a spot away from the village and told them to lie down. They then opened fire. Later, a team of forensics which would examine the bodies found that 103 bullets had reached their target. So it's 9 people and 103 bullets. After that, for years, Ivan Bakovic escaped justice. He was finally caught and sentenced to 15 years for murder of the 9 people here, but he would later die at only 38 years old when he suffered an apparent heart attack in prison. Second murderer, Albert Topic, who was 22 at the time of the murders, was also given a 15-year sentence. At his trial, Amela asked him, "How can you sleep at night? Was it worth it?" Well, I'd like to ask Ivan Bakovic the same thing, if he can hear me down there with all the fire and screaming going on. How's that Ustasha membership going for you right now? Was it worth it? When I researched the tragedy here, I found barely a few articles on it. And even those at times were contradictory. I had to walk around here and speak to the people to get an idea of what exactly happened. Even the forensics photos taken on the day of the murders were ruined as they were left in some improperly weather-sealed vault and disintegrated, just like some people's memories of that day. Nobody knows for sure what possessed Ivan that night, except that many told me about his prior petty criminal behavior. So was he just an opportunist? Was he trying to prove that he was a loyal Ustasha by shooting people who were practically his family? I guess we'll never know. What we do know is that this event here barely registered on everybody's radar. Why is that? Is it that when you look at the list of all the massacres and carnage in Bosnia around that time, is it that this one only had 9 victims? Well, what happened here is not any less tragic than any other event in Bosnia in those 4 horrible years. It's not a numbers game. It's not a victimhood competition. 9 people who died here were somebody's whole world.